Okay, let's go to defense. Now, defensive line. They lost to Forrest Buckner, Nick Bosa, D Ford. Eric Armstead isn't playing well. I'd be inclined to grade this group really hard, but the defense is ranked 5th in the league, and they just really shut down the Saints. And the guys that they do have, Javon Kinlaw, Kerry Hyder, DJ Jones, they're not Pro Bowl players, but they play extremely hard, and they're having really good seasons. I'd give this group a B.
Fair enough. I think fair enough. Their big limitations, they don't have a pass rush.
They're as good as they possibly could be given their limitations, which are injury induced and front office induced. So B for the defensive line.
Sounds good to me.
Linebackers, I would give an A. To me, this is the strength of a top 5 defense that shouldn't be a top 5 defense. Talent alone, they should be 16th. They're top 5. Fred Warner is arguably the best linebacker in the league. Dre Greenlaw is really good too. They just moved Marcel Harris to linebacker. That worked. I think that Robert Saleh might be the best at spotting linebacker talent and developing it in the league.
Yes. I would have to agree with you. You know, aside from being a really good coach, Saleh is shrewd.
Extremely shrewd. He understands what the modern linebacker is. It's changed a lot. Linebackers used to be 250 pounds. Now they're about 215, 220. And he gets that. It's all about how fast you are. And I think a lot of people look at him, what kind of linebacker should I be getting and developing? They look at what Saleh did. He was a linebacker coach before he got this job.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yes. So he's a little bit of an expert at that spot. All right.
Got it.
Let's go. Let's do safety. I give him a B. This is Jimmy Ward and Jaquaski Tart, who are solid players. Tart gets hurt. Jimmy Ward hasn't yet. The backup to Tavarius Moore, I think, is really good. He just hasn't got to play that much. So I give him a B. They haven't been liabilities.
Sounds good to me. Now, you often are down on Jimmy Ward because you feel he's solid, but he's not a playmaker.
Well, they pay him to be an A, and he's a B. So that's my point. But he's still a B, and it's good to have a B. Then the cornerbacks, this is a position that I've been talking about for a long time. The Niners don't draft anyone, but surprisingly, Jason Verrett is terrific this year. And Emmanuel Mosley has limitations, but he's a hell of a competitor. And even though K'Wan Williams is hurt, the backup Jamar Taylor's a hell of a competitor. They just shut down Michael Thomas last week, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league, and Emmanuel Sanders. I'd give him an A-.
Sounds good. Iggy, did Verrett go to Santa Rosa Junior College?
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. He's from Fairfield, I believe.
Wow.
He went to Santa Rosa Junior College and then was so great he got to go to whatever school he wanted pretty much after that.
God love him.
Yeah. Was a first-round pick, and I think everything in his legs have broken at some point. And he's taken 5 years to come back. He's like the natural. It took him forever to come back, and now he's back. And he's got Wonder Boy with him.
I was going to say Wonder Boy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Special teams. I would put special teams. You said F for the offensive line. I would say D- for special teams because Robbie Gould's fine. He's a good sport, a good ping pong player, and a good kicker. Although he won't play me in ping pong. I got no issue with him. The punter is mediocre, and the return game might be good if Kyle Shanahan put Brandon Ayuk back there, but he doesn't. So they put Trent Taylor and Richie James, who combined to lose that game last week, or they were put a big hand in it. So I'd have to say D- for a conservative, weak, awful special teams.
Sounds good to me. Are we going to move on to the coaches? Because I have something to say before we do.
Yes. What do you have to say?
Well, you talked about Wonder Boy. They don't know what we're talking about. There was a movie with Robert Redford called The Natural, and it was about this baseball player who had a magic bat. But, Iggy, it comes from a novel called The Natural.
I read The Natural.
Yeah, it was the first novel by Bernard Malamud from Brooklyn, who went to Erasmus Hall High School, where Al Davis went. He's, to me, a much more important alumnus than Al. And it's just a great novel about baseball called The Natural. Okay, let's move on.
In the first chapter of that book, I believe he goes off the train. Is he a pitcher at that point or a batter? He's Babe Ruth. Right? He's a pitcher. He's Babe Ruth, right?
Yeah.
And he strikes the guy out and comes back and gets shot by the woman, and then it's like 20 years later he comes back as a hitter.
Yes.
Hey, if you haven't read the book, I just ruined it for you. There you go.